Some people will look at the Alejandro Garnacho news and go, how is this even happening? How can United still want to get rid of their academy prospects? Some people will look at this and go, well, the figures tell you the full story. I'm going to use them figures. I'm going to go into detail and tell you all in this live show why Manchester United have to sell Garnacho and other players and what Manchester United are doing to facilitate the moves of Ruben Amorim's massive rebuild at Manchester United. We have a lot to get into in the show. Firstly, quickly, thank you so much if you have joined us for the live show. It is at a completely new time today. I do appreciate you all joining me on the earlier show. I've just been busy the last 3 days and I've had to shift things around. So again, thank you so much if you have joined us. If you are catching up later, please drop your comments in below and let me know what you think. I will catch up with them comments later on, have a good read through and then bring some up maybe in the morning show as well. But Garnacho is one story that we're talking about tonight, and him leaving Manchester United. You know I've been covering this in depth from January going into this window, and my opinions have been made clear on Alejandro Garnacho. We've had plenty of debate amongst the live chat and in the community section, actually, yes, as well as the comment section on videos. There's been a lot of people having their say, actually, so please do keep that up on this as well. We've got a definite signing, first one made for Manchester United before the window has even opened. Canabiek, you've seen the shot that I put out earlier on. I've got more details on that and how Ineos are using this within their own group. He's going to Lausanne. And you know who owns Lausanne? Yes, multi-ownership, and Manchester United catching up with Chelsea and City in making this a free transfer. I'll talk about that in a minute. Great piece from the Swedish Ramble on this and how it's broken down. We've got that to get through. Rashford updates as well and what's happening with him. Obviously, we've got the other list of players that Manchester United are going to be getting rid of. That's been doing the rounds. A big update, well, not a big update, but a convincing update from Fabrizio Romano on Matheus Cunha. I'm going to go into that in a moment, actually, and bring that to the top. Interesting, differing, in the know agents / journalist experts on transfers arguing amongst themselves on social media about the Victor Osimhen situation and where it's at. Who do you believe? We're going to talk about that. And Dango is back in Manchester United first team training. Very interesting. Is this the last chance for a few of these academy players at Manchester United? We're going to get into that as well. That's quite a lot, isn't it? Right, let's crack on with it and get into everything that's actually happening right now. As you can see, first of all, going across the bottom of your screen, the story came out earlier on. It was Alex Crook from TalkSport, but he isn't the only one that was saying this. We have been covering this from an Italian side of things. Ruben Amorim has given permission to Manchester United to sell Garnacho, pretty much. Whichever way you say it, Ruben Amorim's fed up with Garnacho. He's not got time for Garnacho. He needs to use Garnacho as part of the make weight to bring in the players that he wants. Blah, 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 blah. It's always been one direction in the news. And the only reason we're talking about Garnacho possibly leaving is because it keeps on coming up. And Manchester United will be letting Garnacho go this summer. There is obviously massive amounts of interest from Italy with Garnacho. And Alex Crook coming out from TalkSport and saying what he did today is no surprise to anybody, although some are still under the sort of vision of Garnacho staying at Manchester United and this love affair of an academy player coming through and having time to get better and better and better. We've got to be patient with our academy players. We've got to give them the opportunity like other players in the past. We will rue letting him go, watch him go and do better elsewhere. Doesn't matter. Not to Ruben Amorim. And that's, like I've said all along, the most important man at Manchester United right now. If he wants other players and somebody needs to be sacrificed, it's going to have to be the way. I'm afraid that is just what happens to balance books and get through this transfer window. Now, Garnacho, I think, will be sold whether it is Champions League in or Champions League out, i.e. we will be playing in the Champions League and we have that money, and then there will be that sort of that urge to not spend to spend more money and not get rid of players because of the Champions League money. Not the case, apparently. Not the case at all. So Garnacho is going to be used to facilitate the moves in this coming transfer window. Now, David Ornstein said earlier on this morning that Manchester United don't look like they have to sell players to bring in money to buy the players that we're talking about. We want to get the deals done for Matheus Cunha and Liam Delap. Now, we do have an update on that situation and where we're actually at. And this has come from Fabrizio Romano today, talking to Gimme Sport. Says the negotiations for Cunha are ongoing on the player side. Discussions are going well. United are optimistic. Liam Delap is a big opportunity. They have already made contact with his agent to be informed on his relegation clause, 30 million. There is add-ons to that as well, like we discussed this morning. But Romano is saying again, and Cunha has been out on social media. I'm sure you've seen the pictures. In a sense, his message on there was, there's too much talking, it's time for work. Obviously, you've still got 5 games left to go in the season, and he's going to be professional. And like he said all along, he loves Wolves, he loves the club, he loves the fans. So you're not going to get him coming out and causing any sort of stink at this stage of the season. I think it's inevitable that he's going to be moving and going to Manchester United. I think with what Romano said and the way that United are moving in the markets, I think it's very clear. So that's the update on Matheus Cunha and Delap. Again, Romano backing up what Ornstein said earlier on, in that United want these deals done, and they want them done very, very quickly. They want them before the end of June, so that extra period in the financial PSR period going up to the 31st of June. I explained that all before, but you get what I mean. So yes, just more and more confirmations coming out on Matheus Cunha at the moment, which is very good for us Man United fans. If you needed more convincing that United could get a deal like this done, oh, there it is. And Romano, Ornstein, it is happening, Reds. You're going to have to accept that we have actually managed to get a good deal done by the looks of it here. And whatever criticism you've got on the club at a certain point, I think maybe judge them at the end of this window and let's see, because this is a very, very positive start. Now, going back to Garnacho on that, obviously you would maybe look at that and go, well, this is not positive. We're getting rid of one of our academy players. You could, however, look at it the other way and go, well, if we are going to make moves, it's about time that we had someone cutthroat and ruthless enough at board level to make big decisions and not keep players longer than what's necessary, and hoping that they actually turn out to be world beaters. This has happened several times with Manchester United, and every single fan has had their moment in moaning about it and saying that this is why Manchester United are where they are right now. You're right in thinking that. You don't want to think it right now because you don't want to say that the club are actually doing anything right. And I get it. You don't like what's happening at Man United. You don't like the ownership. But deep down inside, you know that Garnacho leaving is probably the right move for him, the club, and Amorim right now. Because the club need the money to support Amorim, and Amorim needs the time to get his team together and produce. He isn't going to get that with Garnacho. We've seen it. He just does not score or create enough. Now, you could say that he's right up there in terms of Manchester United's assists this season and goal scores, but this is our lowest scoring Premier League and all-in competition season while the Premier League has been going. He is part of a team that does not work. So if you want to compare Garnacho to everybody else at Manchester United and say that he's better and we should be getting rid of other players, go for it. But he is still a problem at United in this system under Amorim, and he's the only one, sadly, because there are others that I would get rid of before him, and you have got that argument, but he's the only one that holds value. And 50 million for Manchester United, we've said it before, it goes a hell of a long way when it comes to this transfer window this summer. And Garnacho, I feel, has been looking at Manchester United. There is another report going around that he has made it very, very clear he isn't going to be a bit part player at Manchester United. He's not going to be one of them players that just sits on the bench. He thinks he is. He thinks he's better. Basically, he thinks that he is actually going to be a first-team player regularly, and that's where he sees himself. And for him, I think that's fair enough. That is fair enough. But I just don't think he's going to get it at United. So, inevitably, like I just said, for him, for the club, for Amorim, it works out. You sell the player, you move on. He may do well elsewhere. He's just not going to do well in an Amorim system. And like we said before, we have to fully get behind Ruben Amorim. So this is how it's going to happen, and this is what is going to happen right now with Alejandro Garnacho. And I think it is the right move. It is exactly what needs to happen for Manchester United in this window ahead. So yes, it's going to be fast moving, I think. Like we've said before, I think the outgoings are going to move as quickly as the incomings. I think that there's been so much going on behind the scenes already. The news on Garnacho today, I knew it was there all along anyway. I didn't expect this windows to go in I didn't expect to go into this window, without more Garnacho rumours. I said it before. Manchester United right now have got, I think, 3 or 4 players ahead of Garnacho in Ruben's mind. We've obviously seen the reports that have come out with United on Joshua Zirkzee. He has, and Manchester United are happy with his progression in his first season. Obviously, his numbers might have been better, but his season has been cut short, obviously, just when he was finding a little bit of form. So, United are fully happy with Zirkzee. He's going nowhere. When it was thought that he was gone in January, remember that? That's a player turning his career around at Manchester United. So, Zirkzee stays. Mount we can't afford to sell anyway, so he's going to stay. And again, I know it's not right, and that's why I did that poll. And I put a poll in, and I'm going to come to the chat on this now, actually. I put a poll in the chat just to start this off in terms of what would you do? And the 2 answers are trust Amorim and pick Mount, persevere with Garnacho. Please do get involved in the vote. And if you are catching up later on from the live show, watching it later, comment. Is it Garnacho or is it Mount? Which way would you go? Someone came up with this idea before for a poll regarding Garnacho and Mason Mount. It's a good idea, actually, but I didn't have time to do it. But I've done it now so we can all see. But at the moment, even with a few hundred votes in, 64% of you are trusting Amorim and going all in on Mason Mount. You are sick of seeing these players continuously underperform for Manchester United, and that's that feeling that I'm saying that you are feeling right now. That's that you don't want United to sell an academy graduate to fund Ineos and the Glazers. I get it. It's their mistake. It's their error, and we are where we are because of ownership. I get it. 100% do. But are you not thinking like maybe Garnacho wants out? Do you think that Amorim needs to get him out because he isn't going to work and Amorim is going to be another manager that's sacked? I think the greater good is getting rid of Garnacho and giving Amorim the tools that he needs just to see if we are going to actually give the manager what he wants for a change, fully back him in a window instead of throwing him under a bus and seeing how he does. I think Garnacho has had them 2 years. He's had long enough, and the signs are there. It's not going to work for him under Amorim. That's how I see it. But it's interesting to see already well over 60% of you are going with Mason Mount over Garnacho. Anti-L with a super chat says, wish Garner all the best. He will bang, I'm sure. Look, if he goes to Italy, I think it'll be perfect for him. If he goes to Spain, I think that will be just as perfect for him. I think he'll do well in either league. I think he has got something there in another system which will actually prevail. I think he will be a great player. I do. I think he's got it in him. I think he's got that raw talent. It just doesn't work hard enough for me and have the IQ to work an Amorim system. It has to be the exact right player for United under Amorim, and that is the big problem in this. If he can't get that, he's going to have to go out and find it. And if it is funded by Garnacho, then it's funded by Garnacho. It's just the way it has to be. Let's get a few more comments on this one as well. Wayne says, how can they trust an injury-prone player? I don't think it's as much trust in Mason Mount. I think it is actually that we can't afford to get rid of him as well. Only 2 years into his contract. Big problem, big money. Who is going to buy him? We cannot have that. And I understand 250 grand a week is way too much. I get it. I do. But I think United is looking at this, let's give him 1 more year. Let's see if we can get something out of him. And I fully expect Mason Mount to be sold next summer if we haven't got more out of him. We're another year down on his contract, a bit easier to sell him in terms of balancing the books. I think he goes next summer. But right now, I just don't see it happening at all for him. We can't afford to, and I think Ruben actually does feel like he can play a part for him. Whether he'll be wrong or not, we will find out as we head into the new season, because he could just come a cropper instantly like he's always done for United, and then Ruben's going to be licking his wounds. But we do know that we have actually got players coming in. We've got players coming back. You can say Zirkzee's coming back, Ahmad's coming back. You'll have Bruno pushed into the tent as well. You'll have Cunha there also. There's options there for Manchester United anyway without Garnacho, so I think that's the way we're going. Tomo in Thailand, I'll be gutted if Garnacho is sold. I love watching him play, one of our best players in my opinion. As for Mount, he offers us absolutely nothing. At the moment he does, because he's never been fit enough to play a full game. So you're right on that, Tomo. But again, what's Amorim offering us? This is where the questions of Amorim continuing as Manchester United actually creep in as well, because you're starting to question how he's looking at it, aren't you? you can feel yourself doing it right now. I think Manchester United fans looking at 15 defeats in the Premier League this season, and Amorim's absolutely appalling Premier League record, and then backing Mount over Garnacho when Mount's done nothing. I can understand why United fans would be looking at Amorim's decision-making here and going, hang on a minute, not really convincing me here, this, at all. And I feel like we are sacrificing a academy prospect in Garnacho, who could have been a great player at United, for the sake of changing all of this system to try and make Amorim's job a bit easier. I get that argument, I do, but isn't this what we've wanted for years, in someone coming in and saying it's my way or there's no way? Simple as that. Right. Is that actually true right now? Sorry, some news has just dropped right in on me here now. I just need to read it quickly first. It's regarding Jadon Sancho. And the headline reads, I'm going to read it. I'll read it with me right now. Jimmy, thanks for that comment, buddy. I really appreciate that. Adam, you have become my favourite go-to United fan channel. For me personally, FUTV. Thank you very much, mate. Love comments like that. Right, let me get into this. This is regarding Jadon Sancho and what's happening. Chelsea have already activated the clause to make Jadon Sancho's transfer from Manchester United permanent, with sources describing club figures as viewing it as a smart investment. Ooh, cha-ching. Okay, so now we can actually see why Manchester United, this has probably happened a few days ago, why Manchester United actually feel confident in getting the Delap and the Matheus Cunha deals done. So that's just hit us right now. Jadon Sancho will definitely be leaving Manchester United this summer. Chelsea have activated his clause in his contract to keep him at Chelsea permanently. That's coming through. If more information comes out, because that is new and fresh, I will bring that to you through the show. But that has just come through now. Sancho is a Chelsea player. They have activated that clause, and he will be a permanent signing for them at the end of this window. Now, that's come from a couple of sources. If things change, I will update you, but that's what I'm looking at right now. Sancho is a blue, and he's going to be permanently blue. Thank you, if that is true. God, that just like music to my ears. That's all that is right now. But yes, that's the news that's just dropped in right now. Sancho going to Chelsea on a permanent. There is a God, isn't there? Maybe. His freedom has come. Freedom! Jadon Sancho is leaving United. Yes, I've got other news I want to talk about. I don't want to waste my breath on that, man. Anyway, please do keep your comments flying in. Thank you, Chelsea. A few people in the chat there are also thanking Chelsea. Thank you, Maresca. And we'll give him a good send-off at Stamford Bridge as well when we beat you and stop you winning that place in the top 5 to get in the Champions League as well. And then take the lap off you because you're not in the Champions League. Good on you, Chelsea. Oh, by the way, the week after as well, we'll probably win the Europa League final and then take him because we're in the Champions League and you're not. Okay, yes, I did just wake up with my head in a bowl of cornflakes there. I think that would be the perfect finale to Manchester United season. But, yeah, look... We can only hope, can't we? We can. Right, I need to move on because the interesting situation that's developing regarding Manchester United's pursuit of Canabiec, that is Enzo Canabiec. If you were watching everything that was going on earlier on regarding this, Manchester United have signed Enzo Canabiec. There is more to it though. Le Havre striker talent Enzo Canabiec has agreed to join Manchester United this summer, but will spend the season on loan at Ineos-owned FC Lausanne Sports, reports Le Parisien. Now, Le Parisien, you can take this as a gospel. This has happened. Now, the interesting thing on this, and there's a fantastic piece on this, and why United are doing this from the Swedish Ramble, which I'm going to just get through right now. So, a big deal in the sense that it's the first in which Manchester United is using Ineos multi-club group, owning of a different club, Lausanne. Obviously, you've got Nice and Manchester United. In what way can this benefit United is the question. If United sign a kid for 10 million and pays him 5,000 a week, the kid has a yearly cost of approximately 2.25 million. It's not that much, but if you sign a couple of players like that per year, you perhaps have 67 million on the books at any time, and the yearly costs add up. You can see where he's going with this. United loaning a player to Lausanne is an association party transaction, but it can be done at market value. At a starting point, the market value of the kid in the example above is 2.25 million. So basically, we're not spending money on Biek. This is just an example used if we wanted to do this again in the future. So if any money is being paid, United won't be paying it. So we go on. He's just using the example anyway. I'll just go through that line again. As a starting point, the market value of the kid in the example above is 2.25 million. This means that United can sign players like this for free, naturally restricted to the max number of loanees allowed by UEFA. So good news, this is principally a source of income that we haven't tapped into, unlike Chelsea and City. So Manchester United's dual ownership because of the Ineos group, Lausanne, Nice, hasn't been utilised yet, and we could see that start to be utilised this coming transfer window. So this is how Manchester United can get around things. City have done it. Chelsea have done it. United have fallen behind in so many different ways of activating different revenue streams and saving money within the world of, well, football, because we haven't had football people running the bastard football club, have we? We've had bankers who just think about the one thing, which is commercialising everything that we've got already. Let's expand. Let's look at this. Let's look at that. This is just another thing that Ineos are implementing at Manchester United, which could help the club in the long run. So this great piece from Swedish Ramble, who I go to a lot for all of the PSR and breakdowns of football finance. He does it absolutely brilliantly, and he's a fantastic account. I urge you to go over and follow him on X. He breaks it down for everybody to understand. So what he's saying there is that we could use Nice and Lausanne to save ourselves money and actually earn money off these players. That is how Manchester United are working some of these academy players. So where it is the situation of bringing a player in on a free still, and he's not going to feature at Manchester United. He's not. We know he's not going to get into this first team, and everyone's asking the question, what are we doing? Why are we bringing all of these kids in? Why are we bringing all of these academy players in, and they're not going to do anything for the team right now? Where are they going to go? We've got our own academy players. There we go. There's an example of what Manchester United can now do in the transfer market, or bringing in younger talent. We can actually use them. You know what, like what Red Bull do and what Vival was doing before? And let's not forget multi-club group. Why do you think Manchester United invested into bringing Vival in? Because he is a master of manipulating the transfer market and using a multi-club group to actually get the best out of players, i.e. loaning players to a sister club within that ownership model. Like, obviously, you've got, it's RB Salzburg, I think it is. I can't remember which one it is. I've said this wrong before, but you get the other Red Bull teams. They go there, then they go through into the RB Leipzig if they are good enough, and then they're sold on for mega money. So if anything, if this player does not actually meet the mark at Manchester United, it's cost the club nothing, and then they will be brought through as a homegrown player a couple of years down the line and made 100% profit on. Football finance in detail. I won't get into it too much more, but all you need to know is that this player has signed for Manchester United. We have this player on our books. He is just being loaned out for a year. At the age of 18, let's see what he does. Obviously, he's going up against some alright teams, the likes of Young Boys in the Swiss Premier League. So, yeah, alright level. I think they're about 6 in their league right now, Lausanne. So, yeah, Swiss League, I know what you mean, but still, like, it's not too bad. It's better than someone rotting in the reserves, isn't it? So, yeah, when you look at how United have done this transaction, it just looks like a clever little bit of business on the side for us. And United utilising what we've got, actually, in this dual ownership model. So, yeah, let's move along with it. Anyway, let's get some comments in. Genius here says, Adam, I know you have to report and talk about the press paper talk, and I like your views, but until people are actually signed, I couldn't care about press clippings. For example, the so-called signing of De Jong. Yeah, Gene, I get what you're saying, Gene, but to be honest, we're going to talk about it because we're fans and it's a fan channel, mate. Honestly, don't worry about it if you don't want to watch it, but look, it is what it is. This is time to get excited for Manchester United because we know the people that are talking about these deals and we know how connected they are. Look, Cunha's going to sign for United. Simple as that. Cunha is going to sign for Manchester United. If Garnacho is the best we can do and assume as our best front two, I don't know what that means there, David. Sorry. Best front two. Then this football club is going to continue being finished come match days. I don't know. You got to give it a chance to breathe. You got to give it a chance. It's not all going to be fixed overnight. That's what we're saying in all of this. Yeah. The situation on Jadon Sancho. A few of you are asking in the chat. This is separate news to Chelsea not finishing below 15th, by the way. This is news that's just come now. The news about being 15th was finalised at weekend. So any news coming out right now would be extra on top of that. It isn't just because Chelsea didn't finish 15th. That news was old news. We knew that at weekend. So the fact that that's already been and gone means that anything that's coming out now means that Chelsea... and I said I will keep an eye on it, that Chelsea have actually activated this clause and Jadon Sancho is going to be a blue. Look, I mean, even when you look at it and think about this and be a bit sceptical about this report coming out, Romano has always backed up the thoughts that Chelsea were always going to sign Jadon Sancho and nothing has changed. So you could probably use Romano to back this up as well, to be fair. Adam, how confident are you about the Cunha deal? I am 90%, mate. That's where I'm at with this. Look, Romano and Ornstein don't come out and say what they're saying. It's just not like what it used to be at United when we're worried about transfers dragging out. This is a structure in place that needs to act fast. It's different. I keep saying this. It is different. Look, I will sit here and apologise to everybody for me having a positive outlook on Manchester United's window before it's even happened. Gladly. I just see things and I read things and I look into detail on things that just tick boxes for me. And you know I've always been on this Garnacho story from January. The only reason we didn't sell him in January is because there was no one to replace him. Mason Mount wasn't fit. Manchester United couldn't really risk losing another forward when we couldn't bring another one in. And Ruben said this. It's not difficult, really. You only have to listen to what Ruben says and what's out there in the public to understand what's actually going on right now. Use what Ruben says as an insight into how you see this market actually going. Look, I've got so much to talk about. I've just seen my list here, actually. Okay, the Marcus Rashford update. I'm going to give you some personal information on this and what I have been told regarding Marcus Rashford. And this is what I was told straight out of the box earlier on. It's just a message that was sent to me. Hey there, just a bit of an update. I think a lot of the Rashford news is a brief from both his team and the club just in case we fail to sell him. His relationship with Amorim is broken. Also, alongside that, Angel Gomez pays regular visits to Carrington. He has a lot of friends there. If United did go in for Gomez, he would jump at the opportunity. And that is a definite. Gomez would jump back at Manchester United if they wanted him. He is obviously a free transfer this summer. There is no stories at all on Gomez, though. That's just how he's received at the club, and everybody loves him. We cannot be a care home, no, for people that used to be at United. We need to be ruthless, and we need to be getting the players that Ruben can use on the pitch. I don't care who's friendly on the training ground. I don't care who likes who. All I care about is getting results there that influence what happens on the pitch. Simple as. But the Rashford news on that one, and you've known the Rashford news that was going around earlier on, and it came from Sky. Marcus Rashford is not ruling out any options over his future at the moment, including staying at Manchester United. Yes. Okay, Marcus, thanks for that update. He wants to play in the Champions League, by the way. So, really, we'll see what happens with Villa. We'll see what happens with United. But the word from Carrington, I can tell you this right now, is that Amorim's relationship with Rashford is broken. It is unfixable. And he isn't coming back to Manchester United. It is as simple as that. Now, quick one also on the Osimhen situation. Another update on that. Manchester United are quite ahead in talks with Victor Osimhen, and an agreement on the contract terms now seems imminent. Manchester United intend to offer around 40 million, but Napoli wants 64 million release clause to be paid. This has come from Daniele Longo, who we know did have a lot to do with Manchester United's January transfer window and was on the money and backed by Romano at times. But in this same post that came out from an aggregator account earlier on, Santi Orna, a very well-known journalist, has come out and said this is false. So now we're looking at Santi Orna and Daniele Longo and trying to decide who knows more. And I don't think Santi Orna has actually come out and said which part of this is false. The fee, whether there's a personal terms agreed. We know that there's a lot of reports regarding the personal terms. I think, and I've got to be honest with this, I think anybody who thinks that Osimhen is going to go for 40 million, and I said this last night as well when we were talking about it, anyone who thinks Osimhen is going to go for 40 million, I think you just need to take a little bit of a range. Actually, just sit back down again and have a little think about it, because I cannot see Napoli letting him go for 40. I think like 50, 55, I think you're still happy with that deal. I really do. There's no way that Osimhen goes for 40 million. It was the Mirror that were running this last night. And they've also come back today saying that there's a big list of players, including Sancho, Antony, Rashford, Malacia, Casemiro and Garnacho, all going to be sold this summer to fund Manchester United's rebuild. The Daniele Longo and Santi Orna situation in terms of the journalist world and who is right and who is wrong, you decide amongst yourself. But like I said before, you only have to look at the facts. And the facts are, there are many reports out there right now saying that Manchester United have got personal terms agreed on Victor Osimhen. And we are definitely interested in him. Let that one play out. Because like Ornstein said this morning, Delap is the number one target as a striker. So let's see what happens. One thing that is a definite as well, all the Manchester United targets, the main ones, so that's a Delap, that's an Osimhen, and that's a Cunha, all looking likely, if they get done, to be done in June. That's the key in all of this. Napoli want a deal for Osimhen in June. That's the cheaper offering period. Manchester United want to get their deals done in June. They don't need to sell players. I think United have already sold their players, and that's why I started with the Garnacho news tonight. I think there's something already in the water, and there's already something in place for Manchester United to let Garnacho go. I really do. And that's where we're at with that one. It is. Obviously, I need to keep you updated with the other news as well. We are going to open up a big comment section in just a moment as well for everyone to get your say on everything that's going on. Zachary Bowman and Dan Gore participated in training today. Dan Gore's last chance, maybe his last chance for Manchester United. Dan Gore into his 20s now, so he's absolutely been destroyed by injuries throughout his whole career at Manchester United's academy. Every time he goes out on loan, he comes back with an injury. The last two loan deals alone, this season and last season, he's come back from injury. It's really, really unfortunate for him. But he's back in training, and he is featuring in Manchester United's first team training. So whether or not that means anything, he is an experienced player now. He's had a lot more first team regular action elsewhere on loan than a lot of Man United's academy players. Maybe we'll see him in midfield. I don't know. I think Toby Collier's also back in training also. Just to give you an update as well from Carrington, the protective boot is off Aiden Heaven. Precaution over. And Matthijs de Ligt is very, very close to grass training again and possibly be available. Possibly will be available for the first leg of the semi-final against Bilbao. Ahmad, not full updates yet, but again, we know that he's running on grass, so he is ahead of de Ligt. So if de Ligt's not far away, you can definitely expect to see Ahmad very, very soon, within the next 2 weeks, I think, going off the reports that I've been told and what's coming out of Carrington right now anyway. So, yeah, it's looking very, very good regarding both de Ligt and Ahmad. And good to see Dango in training again, and especially in training with Manchester United's first team as well. That is good news. We like to see our academy lads given a chance. It's unfortunate that a lot of them do suffer with these types of injuries like Dango has, but we do have to obviously cross our fingers a lot of the time that they are as good as what the club think they are, and they do make it. I do believe that Dango is the type of player that may actually be sold this summer, and I don't like saying that. I really don't. Do you know what? There's part of me as well that understands, like I've said and explained about Garnacho. I don't like it. I would love to see all of Manchester United's academy players come into the first team and absolutely kill it. But I'm a realist, and I know that's not going to happen. Quiz time. Which of these players has the best dribble success rate in the Premier League? I've got 4 options for you. Oh, no, it's gone. The poll is finished. Sorry, everybody. It is Elanga, by the way. It was Elanga who won it. It had been taken down abruptly, just as I was explaining it. You had Elanga, Semenyo, Garnacho and Rashford. And it is Anthony Elanga who has been the most successful this season. So, yes, Garnacho falling way down there, but higher than Rashford. So, yes, that's where it has been. Right, sorry, I've messed that all up. I should have done something else. I didn't get enough information. I didn't read the quiz at the right time. But you guessed it right anyway, I think. So, yeah. No, it's Semenyo, apparently. Sorry, I've been told it's Semenyo, not Elanga. I've gone with the vote. I've got carried away. I've been manipulated by the chat. You convinced me that it was Elanga, and it wasn't. I've not read the script properly, so never mind. It is one of them. I kind of ballsed it up a bit, but it happens. It's live, innit? We have a bit of fun while we're going as well. Quickly, just off what the Swedish Ramble was saying and how Manchester United make deals actually happen. There was obviously a piece earlier on about what Manchester United need to make a profit off Antony. Now, Manchester United are reportedly selling Sancho, Rashford and Antony to fund Manchester United's rebuild, i.e. Osimhen, Cunha, Delap, whichever ones it is that come into the football club. They're confident that these deals can be made. So buying the players in, then having to deal with the aftermath of selling players. That's what's happening. Rashford right now. So when you put these players together, so when you put the fees together for the likes of Sancho, 25 million, Rashford's going to be 40 million, and Antony probably 40 million as well. Seems like a good chunk of change. Well, we're not going to get all of that, because Manchester United actually owe money on the Antony transfer. So, for instance, Antony 40 million, when you look at it, Antony is still owed 32.5 million to break even. So we still owe 32.5 million of Antony's transfer fee. This is after 3 years of paying instalments on Antony. So we still owe that even after this season. So when you look at that, Manchester United, if we sold Antony for 40 million, we stand to make 7.5 million on PSR profit. Marcus Rashford's 40 million is the expected price for him. We still have to pay his contract out, though, with which he has 3 years left to run. So you could probably look at that and say approximately 20 million is what we would make profit-wise out of Marcus Rashford. And then you've got Sancho, who is fully paid for, and we will get 25 million for. This is what the financial experts are all saying anyway, and how PSR works. So we stand to make 52.5 million out of them free transfers. It doesn't sound a lot when you're selling them for, what was it, a total of 105 million. So yeah, that's what United still owe, but that's balancing the books. But the big thing on this is the estimate of wages that Manchester United will save from them 3 players being sold, and this is how United now will spend money and actually be able to afford the likes of Cunha, Osimhen or Delap. Manchester United's savings in wages for them 3 players would be 38.6 million quid. That's what United are paying for players that are offering us nothing right now. Yes, of course, a lot of them wages right now are going to be paid for in these last 6 months by Chelsea, Villa and Betis respectively. But when them players come back from loan, which they had to do, Manchester United would still be paying just under 40 million a year in wages for them 3 players. And that's gone when these transfers go through. So you add that to the 52 million, and that's what Manchester United have got to spend. There is a piece in The Guardian actually on this. The Rashford transfer would pretty much, with all of his wages, and they're inflating his wages a little bit. They're saying that he's on 365 grand a week at Man United. If Rashford was sold, it would generate approximately £100 million worth of transfer revenues for Manchester United to spend. Simple as that. That's what we're looking at. Just wanted to give you that information while we're talking about breaking everything down right now. Quickly as well, a quick word from our partners, Football Prizes as well. Please, everybody, the mods will drop the link in the live chat for you right now for Football Prizes. But as you can see on your screen right now, that is this month's prize. In there, you can get tickets to the Wolves game, not the Wolves game. You can get tickets to the Villa and the West Ham game, as you can see. All of these shirts on the screen right now in this prize are signed and fully authenticated. So you can see a treble winning signed shirts by every player from the treble winning side. You got a Bruno Fernandes signed frame shirt, a Sir Alex Ferguson signed frame shirt, a Cavani mosaic as well, and all of the single free shirts at the bottom, they're all signed by the players, fully authenticated. You do get the certificate of authenticity with every single one of these prizes as well, for a simple cheap price of £1.95 to buy a ticket. Buy a ticket now. The link's in the live chat, everybody. Get to it. And you may win one of them prizes. It is an absolutely brilliant prize from Football Prizes, their partners. Big thank you to them as well for doing so as well. Manchester United are believed to be among a number of clubs monitoring developments around James McAtee. That is from James Ducker of The Telegraph. I cannot ever see that happening. I don't see City ever selling Man United a player. Definitely not one of their academy graduates who looks half decent. I don't know where he will go, but it's not going to be United. That's someone just using the City and United in a story to make people look at it. That's the way I see that one. Anyway, again, I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everybody for joining us on the slightly earlier show. If you are catching up, please drop your comments in on the comment section below. If you love the content, please give it a like. I know this isn't the normal time and there isn't as many people available to watch it, but again, just want to say a huge thank you to everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on the show and getting them comments in as we were going live. Thank you everyone again. I will be back tomorrow about 10 to 8 in the morning, and then that's the last change up of the schedule tomorrow. I've got everything I need to get done then, and it is all out of the way. So that is it for tonight's show, everybody. I've got somewhere I need to be that's quite important tonight. I will let you all know in the morning what I've been up to. But from now, that's it. Thank you, everybody. I will see you in the morning. Have a fantastic evening, whatever you're up to. And yeah, keep them comments flying in. If you love the content, please give the video a like. And obviously make sure that you subscribe to Forever United TV to be fully up to date with everything that is going on with your beloved Manchester United. I'm Adam. This is Forever United TV. Thank you for watching, everybody,